Hola a todos, soy Pamela de Estereotipos. ¿Te imaginas ser una minoría en una gran sociedad homogénea? Anteriormente pudimos hablar con un grupo de personas negras viviendo en Japón y en Corea para conocer sus experiencias al respecto. El día de hoy, y para concluir con nuestra serie, fuimos a Shanghái para hablar con un grupo de personas negras y que contesten a la pregunta ¿cómo es ser negro en China en 2021? Vamos a la entrevista.
So, where are you from and how long have you been living in China?
So I'm from Phoenix, Arizona in the US, and I've been living in China for, I think, 9 months now.
I've been here for about 5 years now. I'm from Maryland, from the United States.
I'm from Ethiopia. I've been living in Shanghai for almost 5 years now.
I'm from New York originally, but my family's from Ghana, and I've been in China for a little bit more than 6 years now.
I am from Johannesburg, South Africa, and I've lived in China for about 4.5 years now.
I'm from Los Angeles, California, in the States, and I've been living here for about a year and a half.
Today we want to discover people's stories when it comes to being Black in China. But first of all, why did you decide to come to live in China in the first place?
Well, I was looking for a place to move abroad. Really, I was just looking for any place that was like a big city. And then I came across Shanghai, and it just checked all my boxes. I don't like driving. I wanted good public transportation, low cost of living, and I found Shanghai in China, looked it up, and it was perfect.
Well, the main reason why I came to China is because I was very fascinated with just the Chinese calligraphy and the artistry and some of how the characters were developed. And actually, I have a tattoo here I got when in my 20s. So I always thought the Chinese calligraphy was a bit poetic. And I studied a bit of Chinese also in the States, very little bit. And then I thought to myself, hey, might as well just come here and just see how it is. So I just had a very go day by day process. But then I met her, and then that became long term.
Prior to coming to China, did you have any concerns about being Black in this country?
Yeah, I had a few because that not just me, but also my family. Because most of the understanding of China that we had mainly came from the media, like the whole communism thing and everything. So I had a little bit of concern about being a minority, and this was literally my very first time being a minority outside of my country as well.
I was just worried that people might stare at me, touch my hair. Yeah, I think those were the biggest concerns.
Do they did you experience that?
Yeah, people definitely did. I think someone is staring right now. Hi. But anyways, yeah, people definitely stare. They'll take pictures of you when you're out in public. Not really so much in Shanghai, but if you go to more rural areas, to people who've never seen a Black person before, you'll definitely get some stares. Definitely want to talk to you. Definitely, want to touch your skin.
Well, before I didn't realize that China was actually so diverse. I already had in the back of my mind perceptions about what China was like, perceptions about what Shanghai was like, things that we read on the internet or hear in the news and things like that. So that's all I knew, that it wasn't very, the Chinese people weren't very open-minded and stuff like that. But, obviously when I came around, I was like, yo, there's foreigners everywhere, foreign restaurants everywhere. It's really not like how media portrays, the country to be.
I come from South Africa, which is a country that has a very recent history of state-sanctioned racism. And so I've always kind of been aware that might be an issue wherever I go. And then even when I lived in the States, the Black Lives Matter protests, I was just really scared of, being in a place that would further this kind of racism, right? Or kind of further my thoughts about living in a racist country or community.
After George Floyd's death, there's been Black Lives Matter protests not only in the US, but in many Asian countries, such as Korea and Japan, to address the issue in those countries. How was the Black Lives Matter movement received in China?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I don't think it was really publicized. I didn't really hear a lot of movements out here outside of hashtags. A lot of my Chinese friends that I do have here, they did hashtag it. I guess that's really the extent of any kind of reaction here in China that I saw.
Interesting you asked that question because like a month ago, I was walking around in near my house, my housing area, and I saw like this Chinese couple. They're wearing Black Lives Matter shirt. I gave them this nod, like, thank you. And I was very shocked by that. For me, I didn't think that news, that information from George Floyd's death would resonate all the way to China, but it did. It hit a certain amount of population. It hit I would say, the millennials the most. They really are into the Black culture, it seems like.
My mom doesn't know this incident.
And she wouldn't care.
She didn't know about that because people at her age will be like not that international, not that has a view of like worldwide to see things happening in other places, especially for like female at that time.
That
like
worldwide
60,
view.
65 years old.
Yeah.
Were you able to like protest or voice out your voice on this matter while living in China?
Oh, no, not in China. Definitely not in China. Like I said, at school, we haven't really addressed it. And obviously, outside of school, they're not really keen to address these type of things. So there hasn't really been an outlet, any type of opportunity for me to make my voice heard with any of these social justice movements.
I don't think there was a movement. Because it's not allowed. Well, not in that traditional way of protest, right? Like, we can protest in our own ways, which is why China's particularly interesting, because we're trying to be more creative about ways we can protest. Don't deport me. About ways we can protest, right? So we can't do it the traditional way of standing up on a road with our fists in the air, right? Never. But what can we do in our close-knit communities, right? What can we do in our work environments?
What are some stereotypes Chinese have towards Black people?
Ooh, I find that maybe the stereotypes are very surface level, based off of like a lot of the commercial production of Black people in the U.S. From Hollywood and things like that. So I feel like a lot of the stereotypes involve like hip hop and rap and things like that.
I'm not really a short guy, so they might look at me and be like, oh, that guy plays basketball. Or if I go to like buy something, sometimes the shopkeeper, their only connection to China is either like basketball or Obama. So then they try and start a conversation with me about Obama, which I don't really feel that strongly about, so sometimes it's awkward, but it's interesting to know that they kind of make those connections. Yeah. And another stereotype maybe that all Black people are from Africa. Well, all Black people are from Africa, but like literally came from Africa, African citizenship, whereas I'm African American, so I'm second generation. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that. So even when I say I'm American, then they're like, oh wait, no, you're not from Africa, like aren't you from North Africa?
There's a lot of negative stereotypes that have been kind of impressed by the media historically that haven't had a chance to dissipate. I feel like we've all seen those commercials, right? The ones where, like the toothpaste commercial where my man's hopped in the laundry machine, he came out Chinese. He started Black and he came out Chinese. Or like, there was another commercial, I don't remember what it was for, but it was a Black guy, he climbed all the way to the top of the flagpole and like turned Chinese when he got to the top. Just stuff like that where I guess the implication is like Black people are dirty and something to be purged or cleaned.
How are these different stereotypes different from stereotypes people might have in the United States?
Okay, yeah, I was thinking about this. I figured that you might ask me this. So I think in China, in some cases, especially in cases where there's not that many Black people, rural areas, very touristy areas, a lot of the stereotypes or interest in Black people comes from curiosity. Like they've never seen somebody that looks different from them before. It'll be like, oh my God, look at that white boy, man. Like, you know, where are you from? You know, are you African? Like, it's just this curiosity. But in the US, it's kind of like, especially where I'm from LA. So like in such a racially, culturally, linguistically diverse city, race relations manifest differently there. So like stereotypes might be, you know, you walk past someone or you're walking in a store, right? This happened to me and my friends, and like the shopkeeper might think that you're stealing, right? Because like blackness is inherently criminal.
And what areas do you feel like the most challenges due to the color of your skin?
I think probably just meeting people. That's probably because it's all just based on like first impressions. And I love to meet people. I love trying to like practice my Chinese with people and talk with people. If they're interested in me, I'd love to talk with them. But some people just might have their like guard up when they see me, something like that, or they might, not even like want to talk with me, something like that.
The biggest challenge I would say is not being accepted by her family. Her mommy. Yeah, her mommy basically said, she just said this to me. She was like, not to me, she said to you and you told me.
I should have known.
Well, you should have. It's, communication, honesty. You need that. Anyway, she said to her, I would prefer you to be with a white male, a white foreigner, than a black person. I don't have a problem with you being with a foreigner. I just have a problem that he's black. She said that. And I've never been invited to any large family dinners. It's always like minute, either her mom or a friend or a cousin, but nothing big, because even though we've been together for like 8 years, 7 years or 8 years, she doesn't feel comfortable to let everybody in her family know that she's with me.
The biggest challenge I would say would be in the job market, specifically in education. I'm a teacher here, and so I think you'll see a lot of job posts and recruiters talk about they're looking for a white man or a white woman for this teaching position, which is like really disheartening to see, right? Because it's literally just because of the color of your skin and has nothing to do with your credentials, how well you will connect with those kids. You will not be eligible for this position. Like, I'm a native speaker, right? I was born and raised in the U.S. I'm a journalism major. I've been teaching for a while. I'm more than qualified to do a teaching job, right? And it just, to not even be considered kind of hurts, you know what I mean? For literally no other reason but this trivial thing of skin color.
Have you ever been discriminated against in China based off of your skin color?
Yeah, so there's some notable clubs that don't let you in because you're black, and they'll tell you at the door like, no, we don't let black people in. But that's really, I can't say I've ever been, I guess, blocked from opportunity or like been told, no, you can't eat here, things of that nature. It's really just clubbing.
We were trying to go use the restroom, and this man wasn't letting us go. He pointed us in another direction. We came back. We saw the other people going in. And so eventually we just walked in. But when we came back, we asked him, like, why are you not letting us in? And he didn't really have an answer. But the problem with when things are a little off, because, every once in a while there are people who might clutch their purse or things like that, or people in elevators who might want to not be in the elevator with me and will leave here. It's always complicated to say, okay, is it because I'm a foreigner? And maybe you think that, like, I have COVID for some reason. I don't know why that would be a thing. But it's always hard to say, is it because I'm a foreigner or is it because I'm black? And that's always a weird tension here.
Then how did, these discriminations make you feel?
Like, deep down, it definitely makes you feel low, just because, you want to be celebrated for who you are and accepted for who you are, because deep down, we're really all the same inside. And personally, I think it kind of makes me feel sorry for the world in a way, because that's just one more barrier that we have between us to separate us, Like, I think everyone in this world speaks a common language. It's like smiling. When you smile at someone, no matter where you are all over the world, people can recognize that. But I think it's unfortunate that, something that's outside, something you can't control, might affect how people see that smile.
Overall, do you think the perceptions in China towards black people have changed over the years or in your time being here?
I feel like it's getting there. Like, the younger generation is being, they're growing up. There's a lot more younger people that just grow up with the internet and they know, and more people are just interested in, black culture in general here.
They're becoming, more open, and I think that's a lot because of the music industry. Like hip hop is becoming extremely popular, like all over China, with the new generation. And, black people, we dominate the hip hop industry. We dominate the music industry. So they see these things and they're just like really want to be friends with black people.
And then you also have like particular people who are foreigners, who are also speaking to their Chinese friends about certain situations that they're going through, right? Because we all felt it when George Floyd died. It didn't matter where you were, you all felt it when Trayvon Martin died. It didn't matter where you were. And so, us crying out here, even to our friends, people are going to hear. People hear that here because of us.
We talked about many negative experiences, but are there any positive stories that you can share about being black in China?
Yes, there's so many positive experiences about being black in China. And I don't want to focus on the negativity because, blackness isn't just the negative thing. It's also, it's joy, it's beauty. So yeah, I really like that question. I think the community that I found here, I think coming in, I was so worried that I would not find anybody that looked like me. I felt like I wouldn't find anyone that would help me do my hair. Like, if I was having moments of isolation, who could I turn to? But I was surprised that there are different, like I said, there's different group chats for, black women to connect. I just have to text the group chat, can anybody do box braids? And they'll send me to another group chat. So there's moments where I really do feel like I'm connected.
It's an interesting experience because you do have some really overt racism, but you also have people that love you because you're black, that want to take a picture because you get in the cab and they're like, wow, your hair is so cool, let me take a picture. Or, hey, you're dripped out, that outfit is clean, let me take it. Stuff like that, that really makes you feel good, to be honest. Knowing you can make someone's day because you're black, that's a very valid feeling.
I would say one positive story is meeting her, right? So,
but it's not only because you're black, you are just you.
When I first met her, right, the first comment she said to me, I dance like a black girl. So she was trying to impress me. I think I intimidated her because I was different. My stature, my looks, skin color, it was a part of it.
Yeah. Talking about just meeting.
Yes.
But later on, we dated for so long and we finally got married. It's not because of that.
I know. But I think it was a part.
Yeah, a part of it.
Because I was different.
Because I'm that kind of girl who is into hip hop culture way maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So I listened to that kind of music, and I like the way the dress style, the dance style, so that I will be more interested to meet one person in person. That's why I try to talk to him at the first time. It helps.
What do you wish people in China and around the world know about being black in 2021? Anything do you want to say to them?
Yeah, I think honestly and truly, it is exhausting to have your skin be so political, right? Something that shouldn't really matter, but it does. And I understand why it matters. And I write poetry about it, but a part of me wishes that it didn't, right? I wish that I could walk down the street in a tourist area and that nobody would look at me and nobody would care, or that I could walk in a store in the US and people wouldn't fear that I would steal or take shit from their store. But unfortunately, my body is political. Me being black in China during a pandemic is political, and you can't really escape that. But I want people to know that it's exhausting, but it's also beautiful. There's communities here, and yeah, exhausting and beautiful.
I would like people to know that being black is beautiful. Being black is powerful, and I love myself. And the only way that black people are going to be equal is if we take seriously what love means, right? We need to really take seriously what humanity means. And when we're seen as human, and when you not only love us through lip service, but through policies and systems and opportunities and access and love us out of poverty, that's the only way that we can all begin to be human and live together as one.